Perfect. Welcome everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. Find your comfortable seat to start your practice. And if you need any support for your hips, you might sit on the edge of a blanket. You can sit up onto a pillow. If you need support for your knees, just fashion a little support under there. So what's most important in this opening sequence is that you maintain a nice tall spine. And by keeping the energy lifting up through the body, it prepares us for the ideal way to practice. Let's take a few moments here together, closing down the eyes and allowing the breath to start circulating in and out through only the nose. And try to relax the body. Let go of any muscles that you might be clenching or holding tightly onto. Soften the face and the heart. And you relax your inner efforts to practice. Relax to a point where the breath starts to become very natural, where it flows seamlessly in and out of the nose and the body. And if you can bring your awareness into the center of your spine and start to become aware of an inner channel of energy. You might think of it like a superhighway that travels in two directions, rising up and down the spine. Naturally, when we breathe, energy travels up the left side of the spine. And as we relieve our breath through exhalation, it travels down the right side. You might begin to tune into some of these more subtle qualities of the breath. And see in this moment if you can use your awareness to direct your consciousness to different parts of your spine. So when you're inhaling, start at the base of your spine and like you're shining a little inner spotlight, move the energy and awareness up the spine. And when you exhale, you just let it gently wash back and down. As you keep practicing this, it becomes easier and easier to traverse the length of the spine effortlessly. So just keep breathing a few more rounds and feeling inward and upward lift on inhale and downward expansive energy on exhalation. So we're going to have a chant to begin our practice today. And in this chant, We are calling to the awakening of these inner energies. And we're calling specifically to those great teachers to support us in our practice this morning. This is called the Dawn Chant. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation, the posture of meditation, thinking of my Guru's lotus feet. The Guru is the remover of darkness, or the teacher that brings us out of ignorance. This teacher can be inward in your heart or outward in form. So let's just tune into the energy of the chant. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Sitting in the asana of meditation. 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 Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus feet. Night has flown, dawn has come. Wake, my children, wake. Wake, my children, wake. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Sitting in the asana of meditation. Thinking of thy Guru's lotus Sitting tall in your spine, energy centered in the heart. We'll have a few moments of silence just to feel what has been awakened. Look to the spiritual eye, to the point between the two eyebrows, upward and outward. Let's join the hands together in prayer, and we'll open with a sounding of Om together. Take a few cleansing breaths, inhaling deeply through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. A couple more times. Relaxing on exhale. Alright, when you're ready, join us for 3 rounds of the vibration of Om. Chant outwardly, deep breath to begin. Cleansing breath before we open the eyes, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Good, and then we'll open the eyes and begin our practice. So, good morning everyone. Let's just take a deep breath and reach our palms up to the sky. And exhale, spread that energy apart. Again. And release. One more time. Lift the ribs away from the hips, and then part the arms. Come right out of your seat, and we'll just send our feet out enough that they can still touch the ground, but knees rather long here. And let's start by, we'll fold, we'll do left side. So left foot goes underneath first, and then you can either slide your other foot right towards the knee, or you can step it over, and we'll start early with a nice twisting pose. First of all in this pose is to hold onto the shin or the knee and sit really tall in your spine, relax your shoulders. And if you can just align your energy to the spiritual eye and the crown of the head, you can feel all this wonderful vitality in your spine. When you're ready, you extend your left arm out nice and long. Take a deep breath in, and you go ahead and slice in front of the body with that arm, holding onto the knee. So either use hand, forearm. Some of us get elbow on the inside. Just be mindful of where you are in the practice. Other arm, you broadcast around behind the body and let the chest face out to the side. Nice steadiness of breath in the pose. And maybe even draw a few figure eights with the nose here, just to release the muscles in the neck and the throat. Not so much that we're stretching, but we're just relaxing and cultivating relationship with the breath. Notice where your gaze is. If it's resting down towards the earth, lift it back to the spiritual eye. Try to sit tall in your pose. And just like we did in the opening practice, when you inhale, rise up the spine. When you exhale, expand and evaporate. Inhale, rise up the spine. Take our final few breaths looking over the back shoulder, if possible, in your body. So it's on the inhale that we finally lengthen through the spine, and the exhale that you slowly begin to rotate out. Take at least one breath in between the outward rotation of the pose. When you get to the front here, lift the spine, sit tall here just for a moment or two. Shoulders relaxed. This image keeps coming to me lately of taking like a wooden bucket into the well, and you're scooping up that fresh vitality at the base of the spine, the Kundalini energy, and you're lifting it up through the shaft of the well, right to the spiritual eye. And we're pouring that water outward. When you're ready, you can unstep. We'll go right to the other side. So you just go ahead and take that foot and extend it out enough that the knee is bent, but not quite so high here. And then you can go ahead and tuck your other side. And draw your foot right into the space centered next to your knee. And if you can, you step over and onto the side. Get really tall in your spine here. So do a little bit of a wiggle or a shift, and you'll find that with a little pressure, you can really lift the heart, and the spine gets beautiful and tall. Relax your low spine here in the pose. And you extend that right arm out nice and wide. And on exhalation, we'll wrap it around the front leg. When you're ready, take your back arm, in this case your left arm, coming all the way back and down. Keep the breath circulating in the body. Inhalation is an expanding quality of energy. Exhalation is actually a deeper expanding through relaxation. So you have physical expansion on inhale, anatomy of the lungs, diaphragm dropping down. When you exhale is when the energetic body begins to expand. Let's take a few rounds here of inhaling, lifting our energy up the spine, and then exhaling and releasing. So feel free to close the eyes and really become aware of this superhighway that is your spine. The more that you relax, the more channels or lanes are open for energy to flow. And finally, looking over the back shoulder as you continue your steady, transformational breath. And in this final few breaths, like there was a divine puppeteer sitting above you, feel the strings of the crown of the head pulling a little taller. Wakeful energy gathers as you inhale, and then exhale and slowly unwind. Even halfway through, take another breath. Then exhale, come fully back to center, and we unstep as far out as you need to and sit tall in your spine. You can hold on the back of the thigh if need be. Chin is parallel to the earth, all the energy gathering at the spiritual eye. You're ready to open the eyes, feel free to do so. So we're going to take our leg that's underneath, and you're just going to slide your knee out so that foot's in the center. Lean yourself off to the side, and we're going to tuck our other leg behind us. This is called bull pose. Some of our feet are going to point out to the side. Other of us will wrap the toes behind the body. So figure what your knee needs. Get nice and comfortable here in your bull pose. Another opening twist, so we'll inhale and reach arms up overhead. Sit as tall as you can. And then exhale, you're going to twist over to your right side. So right hand behind, left hand to the knee. And when you get in the pose, refine wakefulness in the spine by sitting tall. Nice deep breathing. It's okay if this left hip starts to lift off the earth a little bit to give you a deeper twist. You can indulge in that. Now if you feel supported in this pose, just to breathe, stay here. If you'd like to lift, you press off of the back arm and float your front arm up into the sky, reaching high above the body. Try to stay focused in your practice and in your spine. If you'd like to wave the top arm a few times or even the wrist, feel free. Take another deep breath, reaching up and out behind the body, and then exhaling, gently coming down. So we're going to rotate to the other side, and you just look over your left shoulder, so look down. And then you can come back through center. Good, beautiful job. To get out of the pose, just lean way over to your right side, and you can extend that other leg back into bent knee, and let's go right to the other side. So this time left foot comes in, and you roll right knee to the ground, and then you can go ahead and pull back over into your bull pose. So find that comfortable position if the toes are pointing out or they're wrapping behind and in. And you sit nice and tall in your spine. You can even get to a point where you can almost lift your glutes right off of the ground, and that's the kind of wakefulness we always want in the spine. Inhale to rise. And stay up in this pose. Lift the ribs away from the hips, nice and long in the spine, and from that place we'll twist over. Right hand to knee, left hand behind the body. Some of us will lean into that back arm a little bit, and it gives you the room to really lift through the chest. Let's stay with this practice today of inhaling and lift your energy right up the spine until it becomes very easy to travel. Inhaling and rising. Exhaling, releasing. And if this right hip starts to kind of lift off the ground to give you a little bit more of a twist to the side, that's totally fine. Just keep breathing. Some of us will stay here. Others of us are ready to lift. So you push into your back arm, strengthening. Send your right arm reaching up into the sky. So squeeze the thighs, squeeze the glutes, and take a few circles if you'd like. Just let them be mindful. Notice where the head wants to rest, what's comfortable. Final breath is an inhalation. Let's try squeezing Mula Bandha. So this is the pelvic floor. You're squeezing muscles of the pelvic floor and send that energy right up through crown of the head, tips of the fingers, and then exhale. You can slowly begin to bow down. Come back and down to the earth. Good, we're going to gently just rotate to the other side. So you take left hand to your right knee and look over your right shoulder. Look down towards the ground. Inhale takes you coming back through neutral position here. Just go ahead and lean yourself off to the side. And we'll take both feet back. Let's take a little cleansing. We'll take legs long here, toes pointing to the sky, hands right by the sides of your hips. Inhale and press into the hands. If you can float your hips a little bit, this is a great toning, strengthening position. You're not too high off the ground, just enough that it tones the whole arm. Good. Push down to the back of the knees, float the toes up high. Stay lifted if you can. Be mindful of wrists early in the practice. Good. And then we're going to gently settle ourselves down. So you can bend your knees again. We're going to come into Gomukhasana pose. For anybody that's challenged in your hips, just come right into cross-legged position here and rest. Shannon likes to use blankets under her knees. You can use a blanket under your knee. Anybody wanting to come into full Gomukhasana, take your right foot and pull it underneath, and your left foot's going to step over, and some of us are going to lay down. Don't worry if you're to the side like this. If you can stack knees one on top of the other, feel free. I'm going to inhale and reach our arms up into the sky. Try to lengthen ribs away from the hips. Create greater length. Chin is still parallel to the earth. Reach with the crown of the head. Good. When you're ready, you go ahead and take the right arm extending out nice and long. Turn the thumb down, and you're just going to bend at the elbows and catch the hands behind the body. You can hold onto your t-shirt. You can also interlock fingers if the body will allow. Now it's better if interlocking the fingers means that you're rounding your back and you're sort of leaning forwards. Let's just go ahead and slide out to the t-shirt so that you can keep your spine long. Good, nice steady breath. Gomukhasana is a beautiful heart opening pose, and feel the radiance of your heart expanding through joy, laughter. Freedom in the heart. Willpower without any devotion turns the body temple into a desert. Find that sense of peace and love and joy in your practice. When you're ready to release, take your inhale first into the body. Exhale, slide hands out of any binding. Both arms go right up into the sky. Exhale, hands into the heart. You can hold onto your knee or your shins if you need to, and look to the spiritual eye for a few breaths here. The neutral asana is very important, just to relax and feel what's being awakened. And slowly opening the eyes as you're ready to. You can unstep your legs, and we'll come back into our neutral legs here. Let's take an in-between posture of Navasana or boat pose. You can take your hands on the backs of the thighs if you'd like. And you lift your chest first, so very important. Look to me for what not to do. So often I see people in Navasana, they're bowing their back like this just to get their feet up, and it's terrible for your spine. We want to keep that channel open, so lift the chest and sit tall and roll onto the heels. Now you could spend months or years just in this version, and you may start to work hands out open wide. Better to choose an easier version where you can keep the spine nice and tall. Your spine is sort of like a sprout growing from the soil. You want it to really reach up towards the sunlight of the spiritual eye.
What would Tom Brady do?
With calm faith, I open to thy light. With calm faith, I open to thy light is the affirmation. With calm faith, I open to thy light. You come down whenever you're ready to. Just take a neutral position here. I like sometimes to step the feet a little bit wide and just walk the hands on the inside of the legs and bow the head. Let the spine round comfortably for a few moments. Sometimes, if you'd like, people like to wrap their hands on the outside of their feet. This might be a nice way just to rest. Just remind yourself the practice is in the breath. So even as we practice relaxation postures, stay steady with the breath. When you're ready to rise, let it be gentle. We'll come back through neutral, and we'll set for the other side in Gomukhasana. This time, left foot goes underneath, and right foot steps over. You can always come into just a seated posture if this is challenging for your hips. If anyone can lower one knee on top of the other, this is where the pose goes. Gomukhasana is called face of light pose, or also cow pose. I like to think of my feet are like the cow's ears. When you're ready, you inhale and reach all the way up. Stay here for a breath or so and keep reaching, long, long spine. Then when you're ready, let the left arm come down. Bend the elbows and settle hands behind the body, holding onto the t-shirt or interlocking fingers. You want to find that nice sweet spot in your pose where you're not struggling so hard to stay there, but you're challenging yourself enough that there is an awakening quality. And in this version, let's just close the eyes and look to the spiritual eye and breathe. If you like the practice of inhaling, lifting energy up the spine, nice deep breath. Let the heart open by further relaxation. An expanding quality of light rising through the channel of the spine. And when we say the spine in these practices, the physical spine is there, but it's the energetic spine known as the sushumna, or the central column of light in your body, that sits just in front of the physical spine, that we're really feeling that energy rising up and down on. And you'll know that you're in the right place and that you're breathing in the right way when your practice becomes very light and sweet and expansive. You might stay for another 3 breaths or so. If you feel you need to leave the pose, just unwind the arms and reach them all the way up overhead. Nice tall lengthening. So shoulders stay away from the ears, arms into the sky. Good. Exhale, hands into the heart. When you're ready, just hold hands onto the knee, rest for a few moments, and look to the spiritual eye. Soften the body. When you're ready to release, gentle opening of the eyes. You can lift this top knee out of the way. And we come back into neutral. We're going to join feet together to open the hips now. Feet can be far away from the body if need be. Otherwise, slide them as close as your body is ready to allow. So sometimes it's nice to get a little flutter of the knees here. What's most important is that the bowl of your pelvis is starting to tilt forward. So think like you're pouring your form forwards here and sit tall in your spine. I like to hold onto my shins, and just a gentle lock between hand and shin will help you to lift your heart. Relax your shoulders back together. Sit nice and tall. This is an active phase of our butterfly pose. See if you can find Mula Bandha or the root lock. You're squeezing the muscles of the pelvic floor. As you practice this over a long period of time, you'll find that Mula Bandha doesn't involve any muscular control. It's just an energetic rising. But start with squeezing the muscles to learn that place in your body. Experienced practitioners try to relax and just lift your energy without binding muscle. Think of this as like the energetic drain plug in your body. If this part of your body is fatigued, you want to plug this part of the body so that you can lift energy up the spine. When you're ready, exhale and you bow forward, release the head and back of the neck. Just breathe steady. The affirmation, secure in myself, I accept whatever is. Secure in myself, I accept whatever is. If you can keep lowering down even beyond forearms, some of us can reach our arms forwards. You find what works for you here. Repeat the affirmation to feel the consciousness, secure in myself, I accept whatever is. Stay centered with your breath so the mind doesn't slip into idle thinking or wandering. Deep, expansive breath. When you're ready to rise, we come back into the active version for another few moments. Hold onto the shins, lift the chest. A little active pulling is helpful here. Send all that energy rising up the spine. Secure in myself, I accept whatever is. Relax the body. Expand your consciousness and the posture. Beautiful, gently lowering down. You can open eyes back when you're ready. So we'll fold the knees together and we're just going to drop the feet off to the side and come right through our kneeling position here. And let's come right up onto knees, kneeling. Take your toes underneath your feet. Get nice and stable in the pose here. So we're going to inhale, arms just halfway out, bend at the elbows, and you can stack. Let's start with right arm on top of left. Some of us are going to hold onto our shoulders. Others of us will match the backs of the palms. Some of us can spin the hands around. Start by reaching with the hands, but relaxing the shoulders. If you can rest a thumb on the space of the forehead, that's another nice way to enjoy the pose. Good. And gently as you are, you're going to bow the hips down, relax your shoulders, keep bowing all the way down. If anyone can make it to head touching the ground or even hands resting. And it can be nice, you can come back up to watch. If you take one hand over the other, you can hold onto the forehead and just bow the shape down to the ground. Take a few breaths here, relaxing. When you're ready to rise, use the strength of the legs. We're going to inhale, and you just uncross the hands and unfurl up above the head. Exhale, we'll come right into our camel pose. So hands down to the low of the back, sitting on the ridge of the hips. Feel free to hold onto the heels if you'd like to try a more challenging version and lift your hips up. Nice steady breath here. The affirmation with calm faith, I open to thy light. If you'd like to look to the sky, feel free. This is a wonderfully activating posture for the body. The deeper that you breathe, the greater your relaxation, the more your consciousness will begin to expand, and you'll enjoy the deeper benefits of these postures. Try to lift mostly through the heart If the hips start releasing way, way forwards, keep them right over the knees. We'll stay here long enough that it creates a definite transformation in your practice. So if you need 2 breaths, maybe 4, maybe 6 more breaths in the pose, feel free to breathe steady. And whenever you're ready, you lower down on the exhalation, gently release out of the pose. A good neutral posture here, if you can bear to sit over your toes for just a couple moments, is to pause with hands on the lap. This is a great way to open soles of the feet, look to the spiritual eye with intensity and concentration, and just breathe. You can release when you're ready. So we're going to try something a little interesting here. This is experimental to see if we can actually get into this pose in a class together. This is called peacock pose. It's very, very challenging in the full version, but we can do an easier version. So for most of us, we might be able to turn our hands out to our knees, so fingers reaching out. See if you can turn them behind. If anyone can get to this position, this is a great place to start. And maybe walk the hands a little bit further back and try keeping arms nice and close together. Now if you can bend at the elbows and walk your knees a little further, you can come up a little bit further in the pose. And from here you would just bow the head down. So the idea is that the elbows are going to push into the belly and the head comes down. So this is a great way to start in the pose. Before going any further, you just bend in the elbows and let the head come down. That gentle pressure on the internal organs is wonderfully cleansing. Try it.
What?
Elbows into the belly and let the head come down. Now if you feel confident in that position, you can stay there. If you're skipping this pose, I understand. You can come into a child's pose. Now, if you want to come further into peacock pose, you would first start by resting the head down and extend one leg back, and then maybe extend 2 legs back.
Oh.
You can always drop your knees down and just stay in this version.
No way.
And you just bring your knees back as you're ready to. So your head is a little rest point. You come into child's pose if you need to rest. So for any of us wanting to go further, extend feet back. And you really got to hold your elbows close, but you lift your head. And you're holding the weight of your body. It's a powerful cleansing pose for the internal organs. And then relax the head down, relax the knees down, and come right into child's pose. And let's all take child's pose. If you need to circle out the wrists, feel free, and you relax down. Nice steadiness of breath. Good. Try lifting your head. Good. And just breathe. Okay, we'll have one more chance to try this pose. It's a lot of energy on the wrists, but it's just such a powerful cleansing pose for the lower energy centers. So again, you take your fingers reaching behind you. For some of us, this is already challenging. Bend your elbows and set your head down. Send one foot out with knees on the ground, 2 feet out. And then send your legs a little bit further backwards if you'd like. Good. All right, for anyone that's wondering if they can get into the full version, the full version here is both legs come back. And you lift the feet and the head together. So you do a little float. So remember, these aren't exercises of ego. We all come down in a child's pose to relax. You want these postures to be functional. The major benefit is the purifying energy of the pressure of the elbows into the belly. So just take a few moments to recalibrate if need be. And if you had any pressure in your belly, you should feel that sense of blood flow and vitality returning into the abdomen. Especially after our camel pose, where we've opened the whole front side of the belly. Good. Good to have postures to look forward to and to work on. Let's come into a downward facing dog. So when you're ready, you can go ahead and curl your toes underneath. We'll press hips up to the sky and look to our lap. Find a nice comfortable position here. And relax and breathe. If you need any squirming in the pose, feel free to help it be more comfortable for your body. Otherwise, we'll stay here for another 5 to 7 breaths with the affirmation, calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. The power of these postures is breathing while holding the posture. And going on that journey, come down when you need to, either into child's pose, or if you can sit over the ankles, come into Vajrasana. Vajrasana, you really feel the upward rising energy that was freed in your downward dog. Center at the spiritual eye. Again, if you inhale, you can lift the energy up. Rise, 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 all the way to the top floor. Chin is still parallel to the ground. Good, we'll work with another challenging posture. So if you have shoulder discomfort, you can always just come right into down dog. But if you'd like to try a dolphin pose with us, this is another posture that's really wonderful for opening the back of the heart. Come right down onto your forearms and let your head fall in the space between. And then lengthen your hips. Heels still stay heavy towards the ground, and you press out of the hands. Nice steadiness of breath, steadiness of purpose. Just breathe through whatever internal experience you're having. Try to stay relaxed, joyful. When you're ready to come down, knees come down. And if you can, take your hands and interlace your fingers and just put your head between that space and tuck your head right into your hands. It's almost like you have fingers interlaced and they're sitting on the top of your head and you're resting here. So what I'd like to show you is the progression of how to get into a headstand, but not a full one. We're not going even close to that. But you take your hands and you hold them like a little for a lack of a better term, like a little yarmulke on the back of your head. And you set the top of your head onto the ground. You can watch me if you'd like. And then you just push off with your feet. And by doing this, all the weight's on your elbows. This is a good place to start. It'll strengthen your arms. And really, in the headstand, there's very little weight on your head. If anybody knows how to do it, feel free to come into the pose. You can always just rest here. You might experiment with sending a foot back if you want. If anyone wants to come into a further version, you just go ahead and take the knees right close to the body. And you might just lift one foot. Good. And then take a nice long rest in full child's pose. Arms extend out. Resting. Of course, if you've practiced these before, you can stay in that pose for a longer period depending on your level of experience. And so that these don't become ego asanas, when you're relaxing and feeling after the pose, come back to the spiritual eye. Keep lifting that energy up and feel yourself expanding right into the room around you. The affirmation for child's pose: I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. I relax from outer involvement into my inner haven of peace. The more demanding a posture, the more challenging to stay spiritually centered. These postures wake up dormant energies and feelings in the body that have been stored for a long time. We want to prepare ourselves with the easier postures first. You ready to rise out of your child's pose? You can come right up through your seat, and we're going to press in a down dog again to stay in our inverting practice here. So you rise right up and you pause here and feel the inner energy through the affirmation: calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. Calmness radiates from every fiber of my being. There's almost a torrential quality of energy that rises up the spine in this pose towards the brain. Breathe slowly so as to integrate and feel that energy. We're going to lower all the way down onto the ground, onto our belly. When you're ready to take any version that you'd like, knees on the earth is the easiest, and take a moment here just to rest on the belly. Make sure that there's nothing preventing you from pushing down on your pelvis. So just find a nice comfortable position here. Some of us will take hands under the face and we'll just stay in Sphinx pose. This is a very therapeutic pose for the body. And you keep pressing out of your elbows and lengthening through crown of the head. Keep the chin tucked. And try to look up a little bit higher if you can. Stay wakeful in your awareness. I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. I rise joyfully to meet each new opportunity. So we're going to come into a bow pose. For anyone who'd like to stay here, you can just bend your knees and let your feet fly a little bit. Just be mindful of the weight on your low spine. Also be very careful I'm not twisting in these poses. Okay? When you're ready, just go ahead and slide the elbows out of the way. Knees are bent, feet are behind the body, and we kick into the hands, and this lifts the chest. And you might stay here and practice this for many, many classes. If you feel comfortable pushing down through the pelvic bone, you can float your knees by doing so and kick into the hands and pull onto the legs. Nice, steady breath here. And the affirmation, I recall my scattered energies to recharge my spine. I recall my scattered energies to recharge my spine. I recall my scattered energies to recharge my spine. Stay here as long as you'd like. That serves you in the practice. When you're ready to come down, the earth is waiting, not with desperation. Gentle, controlled release, coming back and down. When you release your head down to the ground, you can make a little nest with your hands. Then you can wave your feet. And you're moving and flushing out the spine. Good. And the rest of the class will be mostly verbal. If you'd like, you can spin a different way, but I'm going to cue us to just roll over on your back. You're going to take your knees up towards your chest. And just take a few moments here to rest and rock side to side. Wonderful counter pose to our bow pose. Good, steady breath here. Steady breath. Our final pose is going to be either a bridge pose, or if you'd like to try wheel, I'd be happy to demonstrate for you. So for those of us coming into bridge, you just bend knees, feet onto the earth. If you need to pivot around to watch the screen, you're welcome to. And you squeeze thighs, squeeze glutes, and lift those hips off the ground. Arms come underneath the body with fingers interlacing, and you wrap the shoulders underneath the heart. So you might sort of rock side to side to pull the shoulders underneath. You're pushing off of the soles of the feet so that the weight is falling onto the upper backside of shoulders. Try to hug your inner thighs closer together and knees closer together. Good, just like that, you breathe. The affirmation, my every thought is a bridge to divine grace. My every thought is a bridge to divine grace. My every thought is a bridge to divine grace. So lower down if you need to, or you can stay up in the pose. So for anyone that would like to try the wheel pose, just watch first if you'd like to try. Same setup as bridge, but your hands go up above your shoulders, fingers pointing towards your shoulders. By pressing out of soles of the feet and hands together, lift your hips first, then press into your hands and press up. So it's up. Of course, not accessible to all bodies. Do not push yourself beyond your practice level. I promise you, it is not worth it. Stay in the bridge pose if you feel unstable or shaky in a wheel pose. Nice, steady breath. Good, long, deep breathing. If you're in the wheel pose, feel that wonderful sense of vitality. The spine being energized. Good, calm, steady breath will keep you safe. When you finish these practices, you take knees in towards the chest and a little ball and just rock side to side. Keep rocking and relaxing until there are no more patterns of defensiveness, holding, tightness. And then if you'd like, you can even set your feet down onto the ground and then just roll the knees off to one side and take a twist. So knees coming over to the side, arms can go out nice and wide. Take a few breaths here, close the eyes, center the gaze at the spiritual eye. The affirmation, I open to the flow of God's life within me. I open to the flow of God's life within me. Whatever form of the beloved you hold as special to you, can even just be welcoming your greatest potential in this lifetime. For you, that can be God's energy, your greatest potential. We'll go to the other side when you're ready. Breathing and resting. Shift the energy back to the spiritual eye and feel the wonderful vitality restored in your spine through the practice. Stay a few more breaths here, breathing and expanding. Let your energy, your consciousness and awareness expand into the room. Stay as long as you'd like in the pose, and if there are any other postures that you are desiring for your practice today, you might just take a moment or two to find that posture. For the rest of us, we'll all come into Shavasana, the final resting pose. So legs extending nice and long. And I do recommend a blanket in this position. Not only to keep the body warm, but also to insulate the energy, your consciousness.
Thanks.
In Shavasana, we draw all the energy back into the spine and up into the brain. The affirmation, bones, muscles, movement, I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, and depression, churning thoughts, all these I give into the hands of peace. Bones, muscles, movement, I surrender now. Anxiety, elation, and depression, churning thoughts, All these I give into the hands of peace. Let's rest in silence together for about 5 minutes. awareness to the base of the skull, resting on the earth, where the top of the spine meets the skull. And feel a doorway for energy to flow into the body here, and all of your expansive consciousness to flow back into the physical body. A revivifying current. Finding cells recharged, muscles relaxed. We're going to do a double inhalation and lightly tense the whole body. Very gentle tension. When you're ready. Again. One more time. Good. Energy right to the spiritual eye. We'll take a few moments, maybe 3 rounds of breath, stationed here, feeling expanding light. You can start to introduce small movements, drawing deep breath into the body, wiggling fingers and toes, waking back into the physical body, reaching arms above the head if you'd like along the earth. Knees in towards the chest, one at a time as you're ready. Arms wrapping around the knees. We can do a little rocking left and right. And then rolling off to your right side. Take at least 3 deep cleansing breaths. Noticing how you feel, how this new resting state of peace and expansive awareness is the foundation of your experience. Now, as you feel ready in your own timing, just gently press your way back to a comfortable seat, and eyes remaining closed. Try to move slowly and keep the energy internalized. When you do reach your comfortable seat, sit tall in your spine. Feel your 2 sits bones, the base of your hips anchored into the ground, and from that point, the spine lengthening through tailbone, coccyx region, sacral, the navel or solar plexus region in the belly, heart center, throat center, all the way up to the spiritual eye at the point between the 2 eyebrows. Just rest and bathe in this awareness. Allowing enough time to feel all the effects of your practice, especially on your consciousness, the way that you relate to yourself and your surroundings. body is relaxed, but the inner body remains energetic. Calm curiosity. When it's natural for you, hands can rise up into the heart in Anjali Mudra or prayer pose. Let's bring someone into this field of light that we have cultivated that could benefit from physical, mental, emotional, spiritual healing. So bring that person, especially someone you have a connection with, into your mind's eye. And see them bathed in the light of this practice, the light of higher awareness. Let the light be so powerful and so blinding that they completely transform into pure vibrancy, just their essential essence and pure light. We lovingly let it be. Let's rub the hands together. Some good energy, good magnetism going here. Good, nice and vigorous. Extend palms out, deep breath in through the nose. Open mouth, exhale. We'll do 3 rounds of Om together. Inhale to begin. Let that energy flow through your body. The channel is blessed by that which flows through it. And let waves of healing energy ripple out into this beautiful earth. To all our brothers and sisters. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Peace, peace, peace. You can join hands together in prayer. If you choose to, lift them to the spiritual eye and bow the head gently, or bowing to the divine nature within us that is loving, compassionate, wise, and understanding. Eternally free, we bow to that divinity within all beings, saying Namaste, Namaste. Thank you all so much for being here this morning. Take your time coming back. We're going to roll right into a meditation this morning. So if you have to leave, goodbye. We love you. Have a great day. For those of you staying to meditate, just find your comfortable seat. We'll probably take about 5 minutes to get situated and allow other people to join in with us. So just take your time resting. What? You can go. Would you lead part of it? Can you lead Mary Pretzels? At the end? Yeah, there's energy coming in, beam of light coming back into the brain, top of the, yeah. Don't worry, it's all cool. It's okay, you can talk. Just one?
Yeah.
Paramhansa. So to those of us just joining, welcome. We're about to begin our meditation aspect of our sadhana this morning, our spiritual practices. So to all of us here this morning, this is a great opportunity to refine your posture by sitting nice and tall in your spine. For those of you who don't know, this is Shannon, I am David. So welcome this morning to all of you guys. Sit nice and tall in your spine, palms facing up for this version of meditation. If you need any cushions for your knees or underneath your hips to help support you, or you'd like to sit against a wall, make yourself very comfortable here. We're going to start with a chant. This chant is called Bhajamanama Ma Ma. It's the Anandamoyi Ma chant, and she was known as the joy-permeated saint in India, a female saint from the time of her birth who was almost always in an ecstatic communion with the divine. And so we invoke her presence in chanting this morning, that you can feel that joy in your own practice. So open the doorways of your soul and let her presence come in to support you and guide you.
Checking your alignment, seeing that the spine is straight. Inner gaze at the spiritual eye. Deepening your breath in and out through the nose. I'm going to take 3 tensioning breaths just to release anything else that might be hanging on. So just squeezing the fists together, squeezing the whole body, dynamic tension, double inhale in, and throw the breath out, double exhale out. We'll do that 2 more times, double inhale in, squeeze, 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 and exhale. And 1 more time. Exhale. Just relax and feel. I'm just noticing. Feeling your sit bones grounded to the earth. The affirmation, I am safe, grounded to Mother Earth. Begin to place all your awareness, the back of the head, the intersection of the spinal column and where the brain meets that center. This is called the medulla oblongata. Place all your awareness at the center of the medulla. And imagining a brilliant white light going right into that center. And as it moves in, highlighting, lighting up all the areas of the brain, the back of the brain, the limbic system, pineal gland, amygdala, frontal lobes, all these amazing areas of our brain that science hasn't even begun to understand. Just feel your brain bathe in light. And imagine that that light is now moving out at the center between the 2 eyebrows. Move that light out. Let that expand out. And now turning that light back on yourself, back on the brain, turning that light right on the frontal lobes, that fight or flight or freeze place in the brain. Especially at the times we're living in, we find ourselves sometimes just in confusion or anxiety. Imagine that light just effortlessly taking away anything but peace and calm in the brain. And using the breath, sweet breath, just in and out through the nose. And that light continues to bathe right and left hemisphere of the brain. Imagine that light dancing on the right and dancing on the left as you breathe in and out. And as we breathe in and out like this, we don't even know, or we're not even aware that our breath naturally breathes up the left side of the body and down the right side. As we continue to breathe and relax with every breath in and every breath out, the autonomic nervous system of the body, those natural processes, just begin to know that it's safe just to be inhabiting this body. Belly expands on the inhale. Belly falls towards the spine on the exhale. I am safe. I'm safe to inhabit my body, connected to the earth. And placing all your awareness in the pelvic region, and moving that up to the internal bowl of organs of the stomach, pancreas, and spleen, the intestines. All these amazing organs that just naturally do their jobs of just placing your awareness there. On the inhale, imagining that white light bathing all the internal organs, seeing them bathe in white light. Exhale, letting go any stuckness, any stagnation in the body. Breathing in white light. On the exhale, letting go anything that doesn't serve you. We offer that up today. Giving thanks and gratitude for this life force energy that we breathe in. And move it up to the heart center. Imagining your beautiful heart beating. Breathing in the prana, the chi, to all four chambers of the heart. And imagining that white light energy breathing into the heart and rippling out into the bloodstream. Intelligent energy, this white light, is carried through your bloodstream, invigorating, healing, making whole every cell, every atom, every neuron in the body. And feel that happening. I am whole, I am well, every cell in my body well. Now breathe your awareness to the throat center. Center of self-expression, communication. And when we feel calm and peaceful and centered in the heart, our communication is calm and peaceful and centered. So see that beautiful throat center, bathe in white light, all the glands of the throat. Breathing in the white light, exhaling, letting go. Any holding in the body, any holding in the throat center, offering it up. And we move up to the center right between the two eyebrows. And if the inner gaze has drifted, return it back. Return it back to an upward gaze without straining. Looking upward and out to distant horizon. Breathing in white light, the spiritual eye. Exhaling, letting go, offering it up. Cleansing this seed of intuition. I see my good coming to me. It's already here. Breathing it in and giving thanks. Exhaling, letting go. muscles of the face, bones. Breathing into the right ear. And then breathing into the left ear. And then placing your awareness all the way around the back of the head. And moving your awareness right to the top of the head, the crown center, the corona. Breathing in white light. And breathe that energy in, even 6 inches above the top of your head. On the next inhale, breathe in and exhale that white light all the way down your body, from the top of the head to the forehead, the throat center, the beautiful heart, down above the navel, the solar plexus, below the navel to the sacral, the emotional center, and then right down to your root center. Imagine that white light moving all the way down the legs. And see and feel your entire body filled with light. I am a Christed being filled with light. Breathing that in, exhaling, letting go. And remain in this meditative state for about 5 or 10 minutes. So allowing your energy to expand, knowing that it's safe, completely safe to expand and receive, all the meanwhile grounded to the earth.
Join our hands together in prayer. Praying to the form of the universal divine nature as the Divine Mother. We'll close with healing prayers for others. Divine Mother,
Divine Mother,
Thou art omnipresent.
Thou art omnipresent.
Thou art in all Thy children.
Thou art in all Thy children.
Manifest Thy healing presence
Manifest Thy healing presence
in the bodies, minds, and souls
in the bodies, minds, and souls
of all beings.
of all beings.
Rub the palms together. Feel that your body is a channel for this divine light to flow through. Relax your muscles and let it flow. We'll sound 3 rounds of Om. Deep breath in. Om. Blessings to soul brothers and sisters everywhere. Take your time gently coming back, everyone, as you're ready. Again, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you, Shannon, for leading that beautiful meditation practice for us. Enjoy this wonderful day and try to extend the benefits of your practice deep into your day. Namaste, everyone. Namaste.
Mhm.